This is my 2005 Furby. Her tummy sensor isn't currently working, so in this step-by-step video I will go over materials needed as we go, but we'll list those in the description and touch on a few things to look out for, as well as a few tips to help you along in the process. Luckily, we don't need to skin the Furby all the way, and that makes things quite a bit easier. Before I work on my Furby, I like to remove the batteries and turn the switch to off. You can use the number 2 Phillips head screwdriver for this, but just remember to keep the screw with the panel, and it does help sometimes to be able to press down on the middle of the panel with your other hand, just to help the screw come out a bit easier and prevent misthreading the screw on removal. When you do remove the batteries from the pack, just remember to take a look at the panel, make sure it doesn't have any corrosion, and if it does, a little wire brush and some rubbing alcohol should help you get that removed properly, depending on the severity of the corrosion. The next step is to remove her feet using the number 2 triangle screwdriver bit. It's always helpful to have a designated spot for your screws. They're very small and easily lost. I like to use a magnetic bowl or a magnetic case to hold the screws together, just to keep them in one place. After you unscrew the bottom of the foot, you'll see that there's another fuzzy piece loosely attached. It helps keep them together and in place, but also a good opportunity to remove it and clean the fur just in case you need that as well. I will go ahead and unscrew the black plate where the foot and fur panel was attached with our number 2 Phillips head screwdriver bit. You can use a smaller size, but it does seem to be a bit loose in action and you can eventually strip your Furby screws. I have skinned this Furby once before, so once we eventually flip the Furby over, you'll see that the threading is loose all the way up just about to the middle of the back. If you have a thread ripper or if you have a small pocket knife, you can get the threading there. We're going to go ahead and remove this black clip from the back. Sometimes they have two. It helps to straighten it out. It does seem a little stuck sometimes, but if you're gentle with it, but also firm to a certain extent, then you can get it pulled out properly. After that, we have two additional clips on either side, one near the top and one near the bottom. It does seem that the ones near the top are a little easier. Same thing goes, just straighten it out a bit and then pull it out. It does have a little lip that will hook on. Sometimes you can slide it all the way up. It did make it a bit easier having these flat tweezers to be able to straighten it out before I pushed it in with my hand. Once again, trying to get it flat so it'll slide out of the connection slot. With the bottom, same thing goes. It is a little easier, it seems, because there's a plastic flap that will partly open to where you can slide it out a bit easier there. Now that we have those unclipped, we can roll the fur gently over the top of the belly just to be able to get a look at that tummy sensor here. So I usually start from the sides just because there's a little more pluff, like a little pad on either hip. Slide it over the top here, And then we can take a good look at what's causing our Furby not to have a connection on the tummy sensor. Just to show you how it works, it's a little metal clip, and when you press down on the button, it makes a connection, and that will trigger the sensor. As you can see, there's a little bit of fuzz in there, so I'm going to clean that up with a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol, as well as a little bit of corrosion I noticed. So what I'm going to do is get some tinfoil cut out, grab my tweezers, and slide it between those two little metal pieces there. Side note, I did notice that the Q-tips were a little too fat, so I took a second to cut it a little slimmer, just so I can fit it underneath the button a bit better. I kept my tinfoil about 1/4 of an inch by 1.5 inches, just so it'll slide and cover that sensor there, because I didn't want excess tinfoil. So I'm going to take the tweezers, slide it right over that bottom metal plate there, and then I'm going to take some electrical tape and tape either side of it. Now we can go ahead and refur our Furby, pulling it back over the tummy sensor here, making sure to replace our clips on either side as well as the top, making sure to slide the feet slots back through the fabric where they were initially, and replacing the black panels. Make sure to check these with the feet first, just in case. If there's any resistance when you're screwing the panels back in, you'll know that there might be an issue, and screwing the wrong panel on the foot might cause the threading to strip as well. I'll be using the number 2 Phillips head screwdriver for this, making sure not to get it too tight, just so I don't risk cracking any of the plastic here. Up next, we'll get our feet panels back on. I like to double check that the fur isn't sticking over where the screws will be inserted, just because it'll make it a bit harder to find the thread there. But again, we'll be using our number 2 triangle screwdriver head for this. I'm gonna go ahead and put the batteries back in and the battery panel back on. It does help to press in the battery panel when you're screwing it back in, just because the batteries want to press on the panel. Make sure to slide the notch of the panel inside of the Furby, otherwise you won't be able to screw the panel down. Again, it does help to have a little bit of pressure on the middle of the panel, just so you're more easily able to access the threading of the screw.
You want to play again?
Yes!
Okay, easy. Yay! Okay, you go away 10 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here we go. Green light. Red light. I got you. I win. You want to play again?
That's okay.
You